それではですね、皆さん、本日ご参加いただきまして、誠にありがとうございます。本日の、ウェビナーですね、アートユニバーシティボーンマスより、ザビエさんにお越しいただきまして、イラストレーショングラフィックデザイン学院のですね、ウェビナーを行っていただきます。本日の、ウェビナーなんですけれども、YouTube の同時配信になっております。何かご質問とかですね、ありましたら、マイクなどをですね、すべてカメラとかもすべてオフにした状態で、何かご質問ありましたら、チャットボックスの方から、ご質問していただけたらと思いますので、よろしくお願いいたします。はい。そうですね。はい。それでは、早速ではあるんですけれども、ウェビナーを始めていきたいと思いますので、よろしくお願いいたします。So, could you start your presentation? Thank you.
With pleasure. Lovely to meet you both, Hanako and Misa. Please, if you have anything to say, please write in the chat. I'm just going to say hi there. If you can also write what you're interested in as well, that would be amazing. If you can let me know what you are, what subject you're interested in at AUB. Just so that I know, because there's we're expecting a couple more students, but because it's just a couple of us, I can be more directed, even though we're also online. Hanako, if you can write what subject you are interested in, please. And Misa, is it MA? Is it foundation? Is it illustration? Is it graphic design? Graphic design. Thank you, Hanako. Arigato. Thank you. Misa, what subject are you interested in? Illustration and animation, MA, fantastic. It'd be lovely to see your work if you've got anything you want to share with me during this session, because we do have time. But without further ado, I do feel really importantly is that we should start the session with some practical work, okay? Just a little bit of warm up, just to kind of get us thinking a little bit. I feel that by drawing, by using our hands, thinking, using our brain, seeing, looking, using our eyes, helps us to absorb information better, first of all. So we'll do a quick warm-up exercise just to kind of use our hands, eye, and brain and think of some ideas very quickly. It's quite a kind of old test we'll do. And I'm just going to switch cameras. So you should see, and I'll just remove the background. 1 second. Okay. And now we should see a nice piece of white paper. And if I was to just open something just on my screen. 1 second. Okay, so we're going to just do a little exercise, okay? Just a little exercise. And I have here just some squares. I'd love you, if you've got a piece of paper, a sketchbook, a pen, as artists and designers, you should always be prepared with pen and paper at all times. I know we work digitally a lot of the time, but I would love it if you get a piece of paper. And we are going to just do this is just going to be for 4 or 5 minutes, just a quick thinking exercise, a cerebral exercise using our brain. And It's a very old school exercise called incomplete figure. Incomplete. Oops, can't quite see it. Incomplete figure. Okay. And the purpose of this exercise, we'll just take some shapes. Okay. Going to take some random shape. Okay. And I'd like you to draw that shape in a little box. Doesn't matter how big your paper is. It can be a tiny little thumbnail. We've got a shape here. And we've got 9 in total. And in 20 seconds, okay, and I'll set the timer, 25 seconds, we are going to imagine what else could be within the constraints of this frame and this random shape here. You've probably done this sort of exercise before. And I don't know what this could be. I mean, just as an example, it could be a bird. Okay. All right. I don't know. Whatever you want to be. I mean, it could be a letter form if you're a graphic designer. It could be whatever you want to be. But if you can do that very quickly, have I still got your attention, Musa and Hanako? And we have Vladimir here. Vladimir, nice to see you. Okay. Vladimir, you've just joined us. We're just doing a quick warm-up exercise for 5 minutes just to allow everybody to join us today. And I'm going to draw some random shapes. And the next shape, without further ado, I would like us to draw okay. See what we can make from that. Vladimir, we're just going to complete this drawing. We're going to do this for 20 seconds, okay? Very, very fast. And I don't know what this could be. This is a very, very long teapot. I mean, this is silly. Okay, that's time. And then we're going to just run through everything else, okay? Let's try something else. Similar thing. Okay, that's the shape. What could this be? I mean, totally up to you. I'm just being... It's an odd fish. Okay. All right. Next shape. I'm not going to draw anything for the next 2 shapes. Okay, 20 seconds. Okay. Here's the next shape. Are you drawing, Hanako? Misa? Vladimir? We all good? Thumbs up, thumbs up. Okay, that's 20 seconds. Let's do another random shape. Okay. There we go. What could that be? What could that be? It's kind of hard when things look like what they are. Someone's wiry head. Okay, that's time. Next shape. There we go. Harder when we kind of think of it looks like something already. It kind of looks like a kite, doesn't it? So is it a kite, or could it be something else? I kind of want something a little bit more original, really. Okay, let's do another one. There's the shape there. Twenty seconds. Okay. Anastasia, thank you for joining us today. We're doing a very quick drawing exercise. Just using very simple shapes. Whatever you want to do, really. There's no point. We're not trying to make anything beautiful. We're just using our hands. Using our hands. Okay, there's another shape there. Got one more to go and then we'll go into the actual presentation. Okay. Sometimes, I mean, what I'm finding is if I just make a line, suddenly I've got an idea. You know, if I just make a line, suddenly there might be an idea. Which says a lot. I had no idea that was going to be a monster dragon, but it just became that way. Yeah, because we're making marks, because we're thinking. Let's do the last one. Yeah, it kind of looks like an ear, but we don't want to draw an ear. We want to do something completely different. And no idea how this ended up being a funny little worm snake thing. Okay. All right, guys, that's enough of that. Right, we're all here, so that's great. My name is Xavier, Professor Xavier, and I am Professor of Illustration and Foundation. I'm interested in drawing, in films, and stories. Okay, stories are everything. AUB is a fantastic university where story is at the heart of what every course is interested in. Okay. I am fundamentally, if I was to say what I do, fundamentally, I keep books. And I really encourage you to keep books. Every course, when you apply to any course, you submit a portfolio. What you actually show in your portfolio is super important. I love sketchbooks. I love it when I see students submit sketchbooks. And I keep sketchbooks every day. I write and I draw. This is just a throwaway book. This is kind of what I would carry around with me at all times, wherever I am. I'd be drawing, sketching, looking for ideas. It's quite nice, that delay there. Spin around. Yeah, it could be anything. This is about plants, but this might trigger a whole project all about the forms of nature. Did you know that that there is actually a logo? And it was my father's business, and he was a photographer. You can see that's a camera lens, the aperture of a camera lens. There's a lot in a kind of, not so important drawing. But yeah, it could be anything you want to do. Okay, could be writing. I'm based in Hong Kong. I'm very interested in Asian culture. I travel a lot for AUB, all over to Thailand and mainland China, Vietnam, everywhere. Okay, but I'm interested in stories and the things that we do and the things that we see. But that's like a small book that I would carry with me at all times, A5 book, and I'd keep bigger book where I would write a lot more. Writing is equally important to drawing. All ideas come from that, okay? And so I'd be writing and collecting information, collage, words, conversations. It might just be I might spend a whole day just on one sentence. Another time, a lot more detailed, but the story and the word and the image are everything. Okay, so I'd really feel that, this isn't just an introduction. This is me explaining my philosophy, okay, to encourage you with your portfolio. And yeah, hundreds and hundreds of these books, and I find that drawing, for me personally, drawing and writing triggers ideas, and ideas are everything. I've got a whole book, a novel, based around this one image of a sculpture on a 1,000-year-old cathedral in England. But yeah, these books are everything for me personally, and they do lead to other things, okay? And it just could be just a little idea. Planting trees. So it's a fantastic idea, planting trees. So many things are about nature, places, and your job as artists is to help the world. That's your job. It's what we want to see. This was last week, actually. I went to Taipei and I climbed a volcano. This is a volcano in Taipei. But anyway, that's that. And then I would keep other books as well, which are, this is actually a diary. Okay, this is last year's diary. And I have these going back all my life, hundreds and hundreds of sketchbooks and ideas. And I'll be sketching and writing in the diary, and this kind of pushes me along. Okay, I'm kind of forced even just to collage things in, a receipt or a ticket or a bit of ephemera can trigger so much more in the future. There's a whole film project in that one page, but it's not that, finished. It's not, you don't want to show it in a gallery. But yeah, all of these ideas are, I kind of force myself to make these marks, even when I don't want to. And it's interesting looking back at last year's sketches, because they all mean things to me. There's sentences and statements that can become something else. Your job as artists and designers is to do what AI, artificial intelligence, cannot do, which is feel things. express your humanity, experience things, touch things, physically touch things. That's why I like drawing. Digital's fantastic, but just touching things, yeah, feeling things, coming up with your life's experience and making that into work. Okay. Any questions so far? Any questions, Anastasia? Do you have any questions?
No.
Are you happy? Can you just tell me, Anastasia and Vladimir, what you're interested in studying, please?
I'm planning to go to the foundation at the UB.
Oh, fantastic.
And I actually already have I think a conditional offer. Conditional, yeah. Because
Okay,
in summer there, the summer course.
great. Fantastic. That's good to know. And what about you, Vladimir? What are you interested in studying? You can write it in chat if you don't want to speak.
It's actually my father, so.
Oh, hello. Lovely to meet you, sir. Thank you so much for joining. Are you based in Tokyo?
Yes, yep.
Wonderful. Well, it's really nice that you've attended today. Thank you so much. Okay, we are actually on YouTube live at the moment, so we're going to keep conversation to a little bit of a minimum. I'm going to just pull up just an introduction to AUB, just so that you... where am I? Share screen. Let's do this. Just to give you a little taste of what AUB is about. I'm not going to play audio because you're not going to hear it that well, but it really is a phenomenal art school. I've worked with AUB or had known people who've studied and worked at AUB for decades, for about 30 years. And the one thing that I know is the thing that defines it separate than other universities is that it's one of the happiest, the most family kind of nurturing environment. Everybody feels a great sense of belonging, of community at AUB. It's a beautiful part of the UK. It's on the coast. That's the beach. You can go surfing and have barbecues and see amazing dinosaur fossils on the beach. It's famous for Jurassic Coast, but students love the nightlife. And it's a performance university, a design university, and a fine art university. You've kind of seen those three disciplines there. The design would be fashion architecture, graphics, and then the performance would be things for storytelling, for entertainment. So it's filmmaking, animation, and all the other things that are part of those industries as well. We've got a huge portfolio of courses and incredible professors. Definitely the student professor time is one of the best that I know. It's very individualistic teaching, fundamentally, but on graduation, you're not just going to have a very good chance, about a 94% chance of getting a job, but you're also going to be part of an alumni network where you will be talking and meeting your friends that you make at university professionally for the rest of your career. That's what happens if you're studying in the UK. You're building up this network of people that you continue working with. I wouldn't be here working for AUB if it wasn't the connections that I made when I was at university as well. But yeah, a phenomenal place, and I am very proud to be supporting AUB in this part of the world. Any questions from anybody just now? Any questions? No questions. Okay, let me just stop share. Any questions? If you have any questions at all, please just do put them in the chat. I'm here to help. Let me just pull up where am I? Excuse me. Second. I've lost a presentation. Oh, here we go. It was not a PDF, it's a PowerPoint. All right, so I mean, that was more a film sort of introduction. I'll just do a quick run through of more the slides. Please write in chat if you do have any questions whatsoever. I don't want to share that screen. Let's switch screens. I have many cameras and screens in my studio office. Share screen. Let's move on to the other screen. Okay, then you should see that. Okay, fantastic. All right. But yeah, it's AUB, it's definitely one of the leading specialist universities in the UK. Okay, it's quite old. It's 150 years old or so. About 94% of students do get jobs. One of the top UK universities and one of the happiest places, like I said, and the #1 specialist university for employability. There are some very strong specialist courses, particularly for the performing entertainment side, the media, film and media departments. The campus itself is self-contained. About 4,000 students study at AUB, pretty much on one campus, though we do have facilities about 10 minutes away, such as the film studios and theatre. It's not far away from campus. Bournemouth itself is a microclimate. It's warm. It's not far from the UK. Sorry, not far from Europe. We've got an airport that will take you to Paris or Barcelona or Amsterdam in about an hour. It's about 2 hours drive to London or by train, and you have the rest of the UK as well with easy accessibility. But it's a beautiful part of the UK. Excuse the noise. My cat has just knocked over something. It's a community of artists, and it's definitely the collaboration between these different communities that is something that we're very proud of. So if you're going to be a filmmaker, all the other disciplines needed for filmmaking are there. Other students will be studying costume or model making, or visual effects. Or writing, creative writing for film. So definitely, sorry, I've got one new message. Am I teaching foundation? I'm actually based in Hong Kong. I'm the academic representative for AUB throughout Asia, but also further afield online as well. So I do know the foundation professors, and they are incredible, huge, powerful energy. Josh, who runs foundation, is a phenomenal educator. It's a very, very good team. It's a UAL accredited foundation course. So you're getting both AUB and UAL on your certification. But yeah, I thoroughly recommend foundation. Gives you the option of studying at AUB directly into the course you want to do, and also going to other places, which is what happens. But I really recommend a foundation course. But yeah, those courses, we have two different sorts of foundation. The 1 year starting in September, finishing in May, and the international foundation starts in January, finishes in June. And we do have summer courses and other study abroad options. And BA courses are absolutely fascinating courses. Students are so lucky. I was just on campus not so long ago, and we've got some exciting new courses as well. But yes, the MA, which other members of today's session will be interested in, is definitely something that I thoroughly encourage. Let me just any questions so far? Any questions so far? Anybody? In terms of application, SIUK will facilitate that, but there are other ways that you can apply. Just make sure you tag SIUK within those applications. We'll know about it as well. But everything is down to your portfolio. I cannot stress that enough. The portfolio is king for your studies. Let me just... I'll come back to portfolio in a second. I feel you need to know about that. And it applies to everybody, both MA and foundation and BA, but portfolio is king. But yeah, we have very, very strong industry links. So you're doing live projects, you're getting internships, you are 100% moving into a professional career. And it's a safe place to stay. You've got fantastic accommodation. It is like a hotel, but it's affordable. There's either online. Thank you, Vladimir. Or on campus accommodation, or just 10 minutes away, more in the city centre near the beach. A lot of students like to stay there. But scholarships are encouraged if a student is strong. I need to see portfolios before I can offer scholarships. I can make offers for most courses. So if SIUK or students want to reach out through SIUK to me, I can review portfolios. That's part of my job. I'm academic. I'm not an admissions person. But yes, to answer your question, Vladimir, may I ask, are there options to study abroad in Japan? There might be for your daughter studying foundation. That year is going to be pretty jam-packed on campus. Okay, so there won't be any transfers or exchanges to Japan during that foundation year. But for BA, definitely we might have some exchange programs. It really depends on the course. It depends on the relationships that the course has with other institutions abroad. But historically, yes, this is something we have done all over the world. Okay, all over the world. Currently, I've been working in Saudi. We've got very strong links in China, in Vietnam, and there might even just be wonderful field trips to New York or Paris or Madrid. Okay, but I hope that answers your question. But yes, scholarships are everything. Scholarships are everything. Do you have any questions? Any questions so far? Let's change my background. Let's have classic painting. Any questions so far? Would you like me to talk a little bit about portfolios, specifically for illustration and graphic design and generally foundation-wise? Is that useful for you? Misa? Hanako? Yeah, Hiroshi. Yeah, thank you for... I can just give a quick 10-minute presentation. Okay. Anastasia, is that useful for you? Portfolio discussion? Everyone's very quiet. No response. Hanako, would you like me to talk about portfolio for graphic design, MA? Okay, thank you, Hanako. Okay, I appreciate it. I mean, it's a nice lead into the course itself. Okay, where are we? I need to share screen. There we go. All right, portfolio preparation. Okay, just very, very quickly, just quick 5 or 10 minutes just to kind of give you my top tips, really. I mean, it really is so important. I can't stress enough how important a portfolio is. I was kind of trying to get you to think about ideas and just drawing and writing and keeping a journal, keeping a sketchbook. But we want to see, how you're thinking. We want to see how genuine you are, how passionate you are. I think passion, it's a very popular word at the moment, passion, but it's true. We want to see that you're dedicated. Passion happens when you put effort in. It's interesting. When you force yourself, when you make yourself work creatively, something happens. You learn and you get better and you get more and more excited. You're training your eyes, you're training your brain and hands, and you develop passion. Your personal statement for art and design school is showing the things that, or telling the things that you don't need to show, actually. It might be projects you've done that are intellectually interesting or have a social responsibility or show your other interests, but it's not necessarily your best work, okay? You either show or you tell. I mean, that's a standard rule in art and design, show or tell. Personal statement, all the other stuff. You might do charity work. You might be really interested in dance or sport. You might have done a project that sounds amazing, but the actual project wasn't as strong as it could be. But you did that project. It might have been an extracurricular project, which is even better. Shows that you are self-initiated. I mean, what do the very best portfolios do? It is about showing who you are. What is it that makes you tick? You can have some skill, but remember, you're there to learn at art and design college. You're there to get better, to get skills. Good quality images, and there's a nice flow. Okay, it's got a story. Best work first, lots of process work in between, best work at the end. It doesn't want to trail off. It needs to be great, really interesting potentiality of ideas, building up to really, really strong work at the end. with lots of explanations and not too many. I mean, 12 or 15 slides is enough. 10 slides is enough. Some USA colleges only want 8. But yes, not too many. Less is more always. So for illustration, animation, you know, drawing is really important. Okay. You don't necessarily have to show an animation film to study animation. A storyboard and good drawing and the idea of sequence are enough. A little bit of animation for MA will be important though. We want to see innovation, flair, a bit of understanding of what's happening, contemporary practice, willing to engage in debate. You know, it might be something that's pressing. There's lots we can talk about at the moment with pressure on resources, on issues about, you know, human beings, humanity. There's lots of things we can talk about. And self-initiated. I mean, this applies for all colleges. You know, showing that you have there's a great English word, gumption. The personal drive to do things outside what your teachers tell you to do, usually. And sketchbooks. Sketchbooks can be digital. Here's just random examples of portfolios that are okay. I mean, they're all right. They are showing, you know, a little bit of thinking. I mean, this is this is just stuff that I've grabbed from online, actually. Students wanting to study architecture, you know, there's a little bit of 3D modeling, a bit of drawing, a bit of explanation. Fashion design, it could be painting, it could be illustration, could be just could be foundation. Okay. Photography, you know, it's how we display the work. Does it have a strong design sense? Is there a sense of composition? I mean, this is very dull fashion work, but the layout's pretty good. We could be exploring a lot more. But it's kind of how we want to see a portfolio to be. This is okay. I mean, I'm going to show you some bad examples, but say with graphic design, and I know one of you wants to study graphic design. What you want to show is, because graphic design at UK art universities, it's more than just layout, typography, package design, even though we do all of those commercial things. It really is about thinking and really pushing what visual communication could be using text and potentially image as well. Can just be text. Typography is design. It is drawing. A graphic design portfolio with say photography or life drawing even is great to see. It's how the professors at university are thinking as well. They might be drawing just to improve their hand skills, like I just did at the exercise at the start of this session. Okay. I mean, this is an example of a visual communication student foundation. Not great drawing, but it's a nice layout, shows what she's doing. Just random things, as you know, how a fine artist might be just analyzing the face in the Zoom session of COVID that everyone had. I mean, the mistakes that we can make is that there's not enough process. There's not enough description, throwing as much stuff in as possible to show how hard-working you are, but not really editing the portfolio. The portfolio is a piece of art in itself, so document your work at the highest possible standard. If you've got 3D pieces or large pieces of work, painting, etc., use lights, nice even light, use cameras on tripods. Make sure the work is laid out. I mean, this is how an American university would see a portfolio. Each one of these is a slide, minus the description. The description would be underneath here as well, but course leaders would review this visual communication student as one slide, a whole portfolio as one slide, if you understand me. Okay, a whole portfolio has been edited by the admissions team and then consolidated into one page. Okay, so that's a portfolio. It's great. You know, it says what it is. A photography film student, same. That's a whole portfolio. Okay, but it's good to see that. I mean, this is a great slide of one of my students actually exploring things, and that's a 2-slide project. But there's a lot going on there. Okay, Screaming Faces turns into a street art project with a streetwear, sportswear brand hinted at in the description. Okay, great project. Nice and tight. An animation student who didn't provide any animation except a 10-second animation within her whole portfolio. Okay, 10-second animation of a little boy getting a plate from a shelf for a midnight snack. Okay, that's all it is. 10 seconds of moving image. And the rest of the portfolio was just full of her obsessive drawing, trying to get better at drawing, looking at the human body, looking at color, looking at mediums, looking at stories. That's it. 10 slides. This is just a couple of examples. Go back to sketchbooks, you know, display your sketchbooks. I mean, you should be doing this anyway. All students will be keeping a journal. Thank you, Vladimir. I've just seen your question. Personal statements. Vladimir has just asked, what should include in a personal statement? We focus on academic, social, and sport achievements. Okay, absolutely. 500 words, so it's difficult to discuss the art in depth. Yeah. Okay, I can come back to personal statement content in a second, Vladimir, if that's okay. I'll just kind of run through the rest of this. Okay, this is a graphic design slide for a portfolio. It could be illustration, could be fine art. But we're seeing an obsession with handmade letter forms. It's more than just handwriting. We're seeing an obsession with shape and form of symbol. It's a really interesting, fun page there, an obsessive page. But always get advice. Sometimes we get bogged down with the detail, but getting outside opinion really, really helps. I can't stress enough how good the professors are at AUB. And if you go onto the website, and I'll put it in here, I'll put this into the chat. Okay. You can get advice, okay, about how to build your portfolio. Okay, so you can find, you know, tips and films from people. So it's good to see that. I mean, I think it's good to understand who the professors are. Who are the people that are going to teach you? Who are they? Where they come from? You know, Tom on animation is really interested in stop frame animation, Aardman Studios, Wallace and Gromit. He's done PhDs on that south of England animation studio. Okay. You know, you kind of know that he's definitely more in the sort of children's animation, stop frame, plasticine models. You know, but he's also got other interests and other things. Find out who the professors are. It isn't just the place, it is the people. Christian in illustration. Christian in illustration is a fantastic guy he's an incredible illustration professor. Such a nice man as well. Does everything for the students. But listen to what they say. I can't speak for every single course and what's required, but have a look at what they do. But yeah, I can't stress enough, it's quality, not quantity. Thank you, Vladimir. Your question about personal statement. Personal statement. Let me just pull up an example. Actually, I don't want to pull up an example because we're live streaming, and that would be unfair of the student if their name and work are being broadcast. But I would if we just go back to that slide right at the beginning, just about what the best portfolio, what the best personal statement. I mean, I would say, okay, without a doubt, an art university, art and design, a creative university is looking at your creativity, you know, whatever that output is. If you're an actor, it's your show reel. If you are an architect, it's your the designs, the buildings, the models, etc., etc. If you're a painter, it is your painting, it's your concepts, your installations, all your drawing. I mean, it's lots of different things, but it's very visual. I mean, if you're a writer, it is examples of writing. But if you're applying for some courses, say film is probably the hardest course to get onto at AUB. Last year there was about 100 students for one place for BA film. So we don't need to promote film. It's an incredible course with phenomenal tutors, technicians, and facilities. The very best of industry standard machinery and studios for making movies. So many people want to do that course. So how do you stand out from the rest? And your personal statement for film, especially say for MA, if you're doing an MA study, it's to do with your research. It's keeping it really succinct. You don't need to write a art history, art theory, historical and cultural context essay about, you know, what the meaning of life is through the visual expression, the creative expression that you are hoping to pursue as a career. What you want to see, what you want to read is just, you know, what really, you know, what makes you tick? What is it? Who you are? Are you a good person? I mean, charity is great, but, you know, a lot of people use charity as to show that they're, you know, a good person. It adds kudos. You know, it's genuine things that you can say. I'm really passionate about gardening. I have been involved with my local community. This is just a random example. I'm involved in my local community's garden projects. I believe that growing organic food and being self-sufficient in the community will help save the world rather than using other forms of food production. But also the garden is something that is beautiful. I love plants. I love nature. I love the insects and creatures that visit my garden and how it brings out all people, young and old, to enjoy the fruits of our labor and when we have, you know, meals and feasts. So much within that that sounds interesting. I mean, this is an example of a student that was very interested in gardening. But yeah, I mean, I had a student that was going into animation. She was captain of the netball team. She was absolutely brilliant. She really liked sport. She liked being a team player. Now, if you're going to study animation, you have to be a team player. If you're working solitary, you can make your own short animation projects. They're not going to be epic, but they can be short. They can be 10 seconds, 20 seconds. Do illustration. Yeah, do illustration. If you prefer to work solitary on your own or just with a couple of people, you know, that's fine. But she was demonstrating teamwork. She was an absolute 100% team player. She loved being part of a team, and the sport helped to define that. Yeah. So the academic side, yeah, your grades say it. I mean, you don't need to say that I got an A star in my history GCSE and if you won a competition for, say, you designed a poster to celebrate 1,000 years of history in Japan. You designed a poster about the shogun culture in medieval Japan, okay, for a play that was put on in costume by, your friends at school or a local drama group. That's fantastic. It's doing what's outside school that's really important. It's important to have those interests outside school. Oh, the very, very best artists and designers, the very, very best artists and designers are self-initiated. They are making their own stories. They're making that they're investing in idea creation constantly. Every movement that they make, every step forward is with their work and what their work means at the back of their mind. That's how creative people work. They don't stop looking for ideas and doing things outside of class. Class is great for many, many reasons, but the best people are doing things outside. You have to in real life. You're learning resilience. You're learning to be self-disciplined through studying art and design in the UK. I've been a professor in American university for several years. The difference between UK fundamentally and the US system is that in the States, you are all in a class with projects, all working together, and the maximum project length is maybe 10 weeks. That's the maximum, that's the whole quarter. But usually it's about 2 weeks, 4 weeks is usually a big project, usually the final project. But you're kind of all being directed on what you should be doing at each stage. And some people like learning like that. UK really encourages you to be an individual. It gives you the tools to develop that resilience, to develop a mentality of thinking originally. Definitely originality is key. I think the creative output of the UK particularly is phenomenal. Some incredible things have come out of the UK in terms of writing, story, the fine arts. Yeah, it's about ideas. David Hockney, the Beatles, William Shakespeare, Lucian Freud. There's many, many great creatives come out of the UK. It's an inspiring place, especially the history. Thank you, Vladimir. I could talk and talk, do reach out to me anytime. I'll just put my email in here if you need extra support, individual review of portfolios. We've hit the hour mark. I'm open to any more questions. Hanako, I hope this was useful for you, and Misa too. I'd love to see your work if you wish to email me and share anything. It's been a pleasure to see you all, even though I can't see your faces. Thank you, Hiroshi. Arigato. Arigato. Nam-myoho Renge Kyo.
Thank you very much for your great presentation. It's been
My
a
pleasure.
really great opportunity to know more about,
It's my
portfolio and yeah, about your university. Are you joining our university fair in this March?
Is it on ground or online?
It's gonna be both online and then in Tokyo. We're gonna
I'd
have
love
fairs
to.
on,
I would love
yeah,
to.
20th. Right.
My amazing colleague Hario
Right. Okay.
I'm just helping her with the presentation. I would love to, but I have a
Yeah.
feeling I'll be in Beijing then.
Right. Okay.
I have a feeling.
Yeah.
I do a lot of work
Yeah.
in China actually. So yes,
Okay.
I'd love
Yeah.
to. I've never
Yeah.
been to Japan. It's one of the places
okay.
and I love Japanese culture so much. And the other thing as well, just to digress, is that in the UK, professors love Japanese students. Absolutely love. I mean, I remember I studied at Glasgow School of Art. I went to the Royal College of Art in London for my master's. I taught at the RCA. I taught at Manchester Metropolitan University. I know, and I know that course leaders love the aesthetic, the design sensibility, the originality of Japanese students. Incredible. You've already got an advantage by studying and working in Japan or anywhere really, but particularly I think that the Japanese aesthetic is something that brings a lot to the class. Okay, it brings a lot. Anastasia, you're obviously not Japanese by heritage, but you must feel that from being in Japan, just to have all of that influence of culture, of of the food, the design aesthetic, the printmaking, the wabi-sabi, the ceremony, the Zen garden. I mean, it goes on. There's so many things about Japanese culture. Just look at the animation. My favorite animation studios are definitely not on the American side. They're definitely on the Japanese side with the Studio Ghibli, early Studio Ghibli. The best, I think, up there, my top 3 movies is probably Spirited Away, of all time. I mean, it's a phenomenal undertaking. It's genius. And that says a lot about quirkiness, originality, design, aesthetic, family sensitivity, all these things, humanity. Yeah, thank you, Anastasia. Don't forget your cultures, all of your cultures and the cultures you absorb. I've been in Asia for 10 years now. My wife is from Southeast Asia. My son is mixed. I'm mixed. We absorb these cultures when we travel and we work, and that's one of the greatest things. UAL, yeah. UAL. I know people who taught at UAL. UAL's got a very good name. Okay. AEB provides a certificate that says you have a UAL foundation, but the experience of being in London, and I've lived in London for 15 years. I've studied in London. I've worked and taught and been a practicing artist. I have friends who've taught foundation at UAL. For a start, in London, students will go to college, go to campus, and the living living accommodation tends to be an hour away at different parts of the city. So you don't have that sense of community. You might have campus halls where you're kind of meeting people, but you're very far away. You've also got a lot of students and not so much student tutor time. But if you do get tutors to help you, they will be very good also at UAL. I was very kind of timid and shy when I was 18, 19. I was kind of scared of being in London. I wasn't from London. I'm from a little town in Yorkshire. So I was a little bit intimidated about being in London at a young age. Can be kind of scary. You develop toughness as you grow older, but yeah, I mean, being at UAL is, if it comes down to finance as well, I think, being a student in London, I found a little bit more difficult than being in a more affordable city. There's a lot of expense in London. And you might be with people who are phenomenally wealthy as well in London. I mean, you are going to be with at say St. Martin's. You're doing fashion at St. Martin's. You're going to be with people that aren't necessarily talented, but they come from a lot of money. So the dynamic isn't as it just feels a little bit strange, Yeah, I mean, I can't say anything bad about UAL, but it's different. I would say if you're a certain sort of person, then it's great. But if you want a place just to work and be safe and secure and feel like you're in a family, maybe with not that hardcore competitiveness, which can be a bit off-putting if you're a bit shy, like I was, too competitive. It's a bit off-putting. So yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. Is that helpful, Vladimir? I do think people should study in London or any other big city. I think it's important to do at different times. But yeah, there's certain things. AUB is a great place just to get on and do some work, actually. Just go and do some work, not be distracted. You can go out and travel and have a field trip. You can go to London for the weekend very easily. Far better to do that. That's exciting. It's not quite the same when you're living in London.
Thank you very much for your
Yeah,
explanation. Yeah.
no problem. I can talk. I can
yeah.
talk a lot more. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a shame that but we need to finish today's webinar.
Anytime to help. And
Yeah.
like I said, my email's there, and then just to kind of reiterate what I'm kind of saying. Yeah, I mean, I can give you my website, and it's got links to my explanations about keeping a sketchbook. Yeah, things like that. And Instagram as well. It's always good. I speak to a lot of students for AUB on Instagram because it's easy for communication. And yeah, that's my Instagram at xavier.pic. Yeah, easy to find.
Yeah.
But reach out. I'm happy to help. I love teaching art and design. I love it. Great thing to do. I feel feel it's really important, especially in this day and age. And I'll say this, very, very quickly. It's very important that we make the world a better place. And I can think of no other profession that genuinely makes the world a better place than art and design. It's that combined with AI, it's going to transform the world. We don't need any more negativity, violence, and politics and destruction of the environment. We need creative people that collectively come together, and it's the young people, it's you guys that are here that can make that change. I'm the older generation now. It's you guys that are going to make that change. Art and Design College does that. That's my little speech over and done with.
Thank you very much.
Nam myoho renge kyo. Nam myoho renge kyo.
Thank you. はい。本日ですね、ザビエさんに、残していただいたリンクとかですね、インスタグラムのリンクとか、本日のこのウェビナー閉じてしまうと、この、チャットもすべて消えてしまうので、もし、ちょっと、ザビエさんに、ご連絡取りたいなという方はですね、このチャットボックスの方からコピーをして、記録をしておいていただけますと幸いです。はい。で、弊社のですね、留学フェアが3月20日と23日ですね、開催されます。で、もう、留学フェアの、情報は弊社のウェブサイト上に、あるんですけれども、アートユニバーシティボーマスですね、ちょっとお待ちくださいね。アートユニバーシティボーマスも、留学フェアに参加する予定ですので、もし、またお話しされたいという場合は、弊社の留学フェアお申し込みいただけたらと思います。はい。それではですね、ちょっと、残念ではあるんですけれども、これで本日のウェビナーを、終了とさせていただきたいと思います。本日は皆様お忙しいところご参加いただきまして、誠にありがとうございました。Thank you, Zavis, for joining today's webinar. Thank you very much. So I
My
hope you can visit
pleasure.
Japan very
Yeah,
soon.
I hope so as well.
Yeah,
Please, please tell Harry
yeah,
I need to come. I so want to come to Japan.
yeah.
Thank you. Thank you,
Thank you
Hanako.
very much.
Thank you, everybody, for attending. Bye.